As many are aware, inside of Los Angeles, protests have been taking place in a form of dissent against ICE agents that are striving to carry out the deportations of people who are residing in this country illegally under government orders. From masked protesters hurling rocks at ICE vehicles at full strength, looting stores and gas stations, and waving Mexican flags inside of America after causing cataclysmic damage to their surroundings, it is by no means a stretch to assert that this is a national security threat. After all, this is why the National Guard was called by President Donald Trump. The events that occurred yesterday essentially directly echoed what Pat Buchanan was speaking about decades ago. Millions bring no allegiance to America and remain loyal to the lands of their birth. And though they occupy more and more rooms in our home, they are not a part of our family, nor do they wish to be. They are strangers, millions and millions of strangers in our midst. Ultimately, this is what happens when multiculturalism plagues a democratic and/or Republican country. No nation under these two forms of governments has stood under multiculturalism. The Roman Empire let in the very same Germanic people who had their ancestors killed by the Romans years ago. The Roman Empire fell to these very same Germanics who were not pressured to assimilate into Roman culture and did not worship the Roman gods. This country is a melting pot, but astonishingly, it appears that people do not understand the meaning of this analogy. When people harp on justifications for multiculturalism, they claim that multiculturalism is fine because this nation is a melting pot. But multiculturalism is the antithesis of the melting pot analogy. The melting pot means that this nation consists of multiple ethnic backgrounds that all blend into one shared culture. With that being said, is this what we see in our dear country today? When people speak different languages, listen to the news of different countries, and wave different flags outside of their houses, can we really say that we share one embedded culture? What we are seeing today, with multiculturalism not being shamed but rather embraced, is a degradation of what the founding fathers of this nation wished for us. For around the time of our fathers, Europeans were under immense pressure to assimilate into American culture. John Adams could not put it any clearer. Cast off the European skin, never to resume it. They must look forward to their posterity rather than backward to their ancestors. They must cease to be Englishmen, Dutchmen, Germans, and Irish, and become Americans, a new nationality, John Quincy Adams said. But as conservatives, the blame cannot go towards the Democrats entirely. Immigrant minorities are the bulk of their voting base. They force us natives to subsidize the growth of minority families with our tax dollars. They get their vote in return. This is politics. It is the name of the game. With that being said, where has that left us? How has the Republican Party responded to this dilemma? In truth, Republicans don't even realize that they are in a dilemma. As the white population is bound to drop to less than 50%, Republicans are losing their primary voting base. But instead of effectuating stricter immigration policy, Republicans have softened their immigration rhetoric in dismay that they will lose votes if they do the contrary. No longer are the Republicans clear about the demand for assimilationism, but rather they lower their standards to all immigrants being fine so long as they have a paper that states their proof of citizenship. As the Republicans abandon the truth that America is not an idea but a people, we are losing grasp of our national sovereignty as the foundational makeup group of America continues to fall in population. While corporate America benefits from the Republicans stooping to the levels of immigration rhetoric from an average 1990s Democrat, with an influx of cheap immigrant labor and a 2% increase in the GDP, the lower class of this country cannot find work that is affordable for them and their families, as immigration both lowers the demand for labor and increases the demand for housing. President Donald Trump has done well to send in the National Guard a few days ago, but that was the bare minimum. Just this week, we broke the record for most deportations in a day, being over 2,000. But that number, added up every day for 4 years, amounts to just over a quarter of what Biden brought in under his presidency. Though the big beautiful bill could bring a staggering amount of money towards immigration enforcement, we must demand more. Currently, As the nation loses its sovereignty, we cannot afford to be concerned with balancing the budget. The border and immigration must come first, or else this nation will be nothing but a name in the history books in a few decades.